welcome to episode 63 of Cinema Curse. Tonight, it's weird to say tonight because it's very bright outside still because of the old daylight savings times. Tonight, Bond Club continues with You Only Live Twice, the only George Lazenby film on Her Majesty's Secret Service, and the weird 60s Casino Royale that exists for legal reasons. It's basically, it's that meme of like the dominoes where the one guy presses it at the front, and it's like the climax episode. I was talking about this the other day with how that happened with Marvel in the 80s and 90s, and you could do that meme with like Marvel sells off its assets, and then at the very end, Madam Web. And you could do that with it's not as long of a dust trail of dominoes, but the Casino Royale TV episode we talked about in Volume 1 is the beginning, and the end is, well, I guess the middle is this movie. The end is doesn't come till 2006, I guess, fully. But anyways, I'm your Wicked Game Master, Lloyd Crews. Joining me today is Bri Robert.
Hey guys, how are you?
Scott Heaton.
Hey everyone, good to see you again.
And Jason Steele.
Hello.
I want to thank Marina Sakamoto and her band Shunkin for the use of their song Curse off of the EP She Nods for our opening. It's been 853 days since the strike ended. The APTP still sucks. How is everybody doing?
Good.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Doing good. Just saw a bunch of short films.
Oh,
Some
yeah.
animated,
Nice,
some live action.
Did you see the documentary ones? Or
No, AMC isn't doing those.
okay.
So no, I have to go to Lemley, I think, is doing those. But I'd say like two of those blocks in one day is enough.
Yeah.
So I hope this Thursday, that's my next day off, for those that are stalking me, to check out the documentary ones.
I looked at, I'm going to end up watching all of the feature documentaries because I only got one left, and it sounds honestly a little more like life affirming than some of the other ones that I've already watched. But I was looking at like all the nominees, and I would have to watch like both Zootopias. Haven't seen either of those. I would have to watch Jurassic World Rebirth, and I would have to ask whatever that. There's always like some fuck ass movie nominated for best song that no one's ever even heard of. It's like a psyop or something, like somebody's daughter.
Was Rebirth nominated for visual effects, I assume?
Yeah, effects this year.
You don't have to watch that shit.
Yeah.
The
So I was just like in my head, I'm like, because I thought like a couple of weeks ago, I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch all the movies, and then I looked at the list and was like, I'm not gonna watch all of them. I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
But I've watched a lot of the categories, all the acting, all the writing. I'm good. But speaking of good, let's get started. Keep zooming in like this. Their first film, 1967's You Only Live Twice. I got this great set behind me. We'll talk about it more later. Before we get into the summary, I will say full disclosure, I love this film. I think if Goldfinger is perfect, this is like that formula like turned up to 11. Like everything's like a little like wacky and weird and stretched thin. I will acknowledge the movie has issues, and I'm not really going to try to defend them. I also really like I think there's a lot of cool like late 60s space stuff in this film, which I think is very fun. But yeah, the opening, which is one of my favorite. I think the opening like 10 minutes of this is like my favorite sequence in any Bond film, honestly. We're in space.
Is this the second or third time that they like fake kill him in the opening?
This is the second for sure, because there's From Russia they do that.
Yeah.
But I don't think in Thunderball he jetpacks around and he's fine.
Yeah.
I forgot what Goldfinger, the opening in Goldfinger is. I don't think he has a fake death in that one. But You Only Live Twice, Yolt opens with in space. There's a U.S. capsule doing space stuff, and then a bigger space device comes to snatch it up. I love this sequence. A great building music, very scary and intense. We cut to the U.S. and the Soviets arguing. They think each other is doing it, but the British know better. Something's going on in Japan, and their best guy is working on it right now. And we smash cut to Bond rolling off of someone, which I think is one of the best, also like Bond sex jokes. Also being kind of racist. He says some weird thing about Peking duck here. But he gets trapped in the hide-a-bed and shot up, and these cops come up and they're like, at least he died on the job, and he'd have wanted it that way. And then we cut to the opening credits. Cool titles, great song. I'm gonna go ahead and already say I'm gonna argue the song for S tier later. I think it's one of the songs that, like, even on a lyrical level, I think it's like meaningful in a way. I think the piece of evidence I would use, I know we talked about this, Scott, is its use in Mad Men.
Yep.
And the way it can actually be used outside of its own context.
I think it's one of the best Bond songs.
The movie written by Roald Dahl, interestingly enough, directed by Lewis Gilbert, who would return for, I think, the last two 70s films. We cut to a naval funeral held for Bond. You thought we were done with underwater cameras? No thanks. But he gets sucked into a submarine. He's given like a Juliet drug, and he's still alive. They faked his death to give him elbow room to go after the big one, Blofeld, whose hand and cat we've seen in several of these movies at this point. They think he's behind the rocket snatching and are worried it could escalate to World War III. And this is also like I think this is one of the first times. They do this a lot in the next decade that I like, where M will have these like satellite offices that are like, it's like on a boat or something, or the best one I think is in Man with the Golden Gun, where it's in like a half sunken building or something. And
this is the start of that. Yeah, we're like secret location, but the interior is basically the same.
Yeah.
Like, he still has the office. He still has like the lobby where Moneypenny is.
Yeah.
It's just like, not like, for this one, it's the sub version of that.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're in their like naval uniforms too.
Yeah. Sometimes the costumes are a little different.
And we cut to Tokyo. Tokyo Lights. Apparently, it was hard to film in Japan, as the fans would swarm Connery on the streets when they were filming some of these outside scenes. Ladies are watching Bond as he goes to see a sumo match, and Bond's son is very respectful by taking his shoes off. A lady comes up to Bond and exchanges the code word they exchanged earlier, and he goes to meet Henderson, a man played might have a white boy who speaks a little Japanese. This guy is played by Charles Gray, an actor will return in Diamonds Are Forever as Blofeld. Interestingly enough, we find out about Tiger Tanaka, head of Japanese intel. Henderson wants to say more when he's stabbed through the wall. Bond Kool-Aid mans and gets the guy and disguises himself as him and lets himself be taken to Osato Chemicals, this big corporate office where Bond is put in an office. And there's a huge, great fight with a big dude that I like a lot. They fuck up the office, swinging around chairs and shit. Bond then cracks a safe and hides from dudes. I really also love the sparseness of the sound design. This is true for a lot of these early films, is how, where it's just like, it's like really just focusing on like those little clicks and the footsteps and things like that. Bond escapes with some intel. He's saved by Aki, which is one of the girl who brought him to Henderson earlier. Bond chases her down the subway. He kind of gets suspicious of her, thinking like, I don't know, this girl keeps putting me in situations. But he gets shooted. He falls down a big metal chute and meets Tiger Tanaka, who fucking rules. Who's one of my He's another good Bond buddy. And he also clocks Bond immediately with the you should never get in a car with a strange girl, but you'll get into anything with any girl. They take Tiger's private train. They look at the photo Bond stole from Osato, and there's like a weird liquidated comment about the tourist that took it. So of this coastline. Then we get some weird combo of racism and sexism. That IMO is kind of more sexist than racist, where they're in like a big hot tub with a bunch of women, and there's the sexiful comment. I think is the worst part of the movie, and I don't understand. I don't understand what's going on there. I can't tell if that moment is more sexist or more racist, to be honest. It's hard to tell because it's obviously sexist, but it's like there's something like about the sexiful, which I think is a real word technically, but it's like clearly being used as like an awkward phrase by this like Japanese man. I think that's the bit that's going on, but it's hard to tell. I don't know.
There's also like the cultural assumptions and stuff.
Yeah, that stuff too.
With the writers.
Honestly, this stuff in the dialogue is actually the most racist stuff in the movie. There's something later that always gets called as the most racist thing in the movie, and weirdly that feels like just like stupid. In a way, or speaking of our previous club, it has big Mr. Tajimura vibes, and less Mickey Rooney and Breakfast at Tiffany's vibes, I would say. Let's see. I gotta go through some of my comments. Yeah, Bond hooks up with Aki. Back at Osato, Bond meets Mr. Osato as Mr. Fisher. Bond is immediately suspicious, and vice versa. Miss Grant is also there, some lady. After Bond leaves, Osato requests Grant to kill Bond. Outside, a car tries to, but Aki picks Bond up, and a chase scene ensues. And in one of my favorite moments in the movie, a helicopter shows up and picks up the car following our heroes and drops it in the ocean. And it's great. Bond says, just a drop in the ocean. And I'm going to say, with that, James Bond won, helicopters won. This point goes to helicopters. Bond didn't have anything to do with that. At the docks, Bond and Aki investigate the Ming Po. A bunch of ruffians show up, and we get a big action chase scene. It involves a great shot of Bond running from tons of dudes on the roof. Bond is captured and sent to Grant, who is Spectre's number 11. She has him tied up, but she's too horny for him. He says he's an industrial spy, which I don't think she really buys. And then they hook up, and he does like the things I do for England bit. Later, they're on a plane, and she strands him, and he barely makes it out alive. That's a longer scene, but that's pretty much the summary of everything that happens in it. Meanwhile, Tiger found out where the photo Bond found earlier was taken. And then we get to one of my other favorite sequences in the movie. Q shows up with Bond's toy helicopter, Little Nelly. Little Nelly actually fucking rules. Bond investigates the area around the photo, finding a village and an inactive volcano before a bunch of other copters show up, kind of, proving their suspicions. And then we get a big copter fight with flamethrowers and great use of the theme, mines, so many explosions. And you know what? For this one, I think it's James Bond 2, Helicopters 2. They both get a point because it was a dual effort. Shouldn't have done that. Sorry, I fucked with my my settings in a weird way. And then Bond is weird about it. He says some weird shit about Little Nelly that I don't really appreciate about her, like respecting her honor in front of these rough men or whatever. It's kind of weird. It's kind of a weird way to phrase that, Bond. The
Bond is kind of a weird guy.
Bond is especially this Bond. I always knew there's always like a thing, but it is funny. It is funny, especially in this episode, because this is one of the few episodes where we'll be talking about 2 different iterations of Bond, actually. Well, actually, technically more than 2. Like, technically like a fucking technically like a dozen. But mainly 2. And there is like a real stark difference, I would say, like that you could tell this time. George Lazenby has a much softer, kinder energy.
Yes.
I think. The Soviets launch their rocket, and it also gets clamped. The capsule lands in the volcano, revealing this incredible set by Ken Adams. This is from later in the film, but boy, oh boy, I wish I could go back and walk around this fucking thing. What a cool big ass set. I just like a set that's big. Also, you know what I mean? I know that's weird to say, but like I want to do like a big set. Fuck a small set, like a house. Who cares? A big volcano base. I'm sure like this direction doesn't look as nice, but that's Hollywood, baby. Blofeld feeds his piranhas as he negotiates his deal. Some great power is paying him to start a war between the U.S. and Russia, but Blofeld wants more money. Osato and Grant meet with Blofeld, and Blofeld feeds Grant to his fish for failing him. At Tiger's Ninja School, Bond is escorted via helicopter. Well, wrong. That was the wrong one. It's 2 versus 3. James Bond 2, Helicopters 3. I think if you get escorted by a helicopter, that's like being cucked by the helicopter. So I'm gonna give that one. I'm gonna give that one to the concept of helicopters over the man James Bond. There's some cool bits with the ninja trading. Modern ninjas have guns. Bond will become Japanese. And take a wife. Apparently a quote-unquote piggish one that Tiger has set him up with in the village near the volcano. Bond is quote-unquote turned Japanese, which, to be honest, kind of just makes him look like a Romulan.
Yeah.
It's like the moment that people always talk about as the most offensive moment, and like weirdly, like in the context of the movie, considering how he portrays it, it's not like Connery then starts like doing a voice. He just like doesn't say anything, basically. And I mean, I'm not saying it's good or anything, but it is. It's a weird moment. And it's such a weird makeup job too, because again, he looks like a Vulcan or a Romulan or something.
Yeah, I describe it as technically yellow face. Like, because he's not like going all out, and like the makeup isn't. It's more of just a wig.
Yeah. Yeah.
I kind of thought that it made him look like they were trying to make him look like a little boy or something.
Yeah, he looks. It's a very strange. It's like not quite. It's not. It isn't it. They didn't quite get it there.
It's like they were intending to be racist, but didn't quite get there.
Yeah, it's not as effectively racist as Mr. Tajimura in Twin Peaks, which I think is like actually probably, which is definitely worse. I think mostly because Piper Laurie's like doing a whole voice.
The voice, yeah, the voice pushes you over the edge.
The voice is what puts it over the edge. Sean Connery had the good, at least in this sense, he had the good sense to shut up. He doesn't say anything when he's like. Pretending to be Japanese. It's like that song. He's turning Japanese. Aki is killed at night with a poison drip that was meant for Bond, and another assassin tries to kill Bond in training. Eventually we get to the wedding, which has some cool just like, Japanese marriage ceremony stuff. You know, I think that was like an appeal of this kind of thing at the time. It's just like, oh, what's a Japanese wedding ceremony look like? Here we go. Looks like this, sort of. Bond meets his wife, Kissy, who is very beautiful, whose name is not mentioned in the film. The Tiger was fucking with him by calling her piggish.
I will say that sequence was a little bit weird where they keep bringing up like Japanese women and
Yes.
Sean Connery looks over and he's like, "Ooh, I don't like this one."
That part of the sequence is weird. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. But there are also parts where we're just like observing a Japanese wedding, essentially, which I always like that stuff. Kissy doesn't want to sleep with Bond, so Bond doesn't need the oysters. And later, Bond is updated on the U.S. launch of their next missile or whatever capsule that the U.S. is going to do. Tiger comes and tells him. Soon, Bond and Kissy head out to investigate a cave that killed someone in the village. There's gas in there, and they have to duck underwater. It's like I guess it's supposed to be like the bottom of the volcano ducts that this inactive volcano is. They travel up the volcano to investigate more, and they find the fake volcano top. Meanwhile, U.S. launches their capsule. Bond infiltrates in a frog suit, sneaks onto the monorail, and heads up to the dressing rooms to find the kidnapped U.S. Soviet astronauts who all team up with him in a very progressive moment. Helicopters swarm Kissy, but she's too good. Bond tries to get onto Blofeld's rocket, but Blofeld recognizes him. And we finally get the full reveal of Donald Pleasance as Blofeld. He looks great. Iconic look, iconic performance. Great cat who, when the explosions go off in a later scene, if you watch the cat in some of those wide shots, the cat is not happy about being there. The cat is freaking out. Does not want to be on set anymore. So I feel a little bad for the cat, but you know, it is what. I'm sure the cat was fine. Like this probably just had a bad day. Big battle ensues after Bond uses a cigarette rocket to blow up the control room. Eventually, Blofeld kills Osato. Bond stops the launch, but Blofeld escapes. I'm yada yada yadaing a big, long, cool, fun action scene, which is what's going on behind me. And then, Bond and Kissy enjoy their honeymoon in a raft, but a submarine is right below them with M and Moneypenny on it, being fucking judgy and shitty about it. And then in the credits, James Bond will return and honor Majesty's Secret Service. She only lived twice. I like this movie a lot, acknowledging the issues. I like the fun parts. I like the goofy, over the top spy stuff. The racism I'm less into. And the sexism.
Yeah, I don't really like this one. I do like. I think the production design is and cinematography is some of the best in the '60s Bond films. Like I think that those two elements are genuinely like extraordinary. Like there's so many terrific shots in this movie, and I do like all the sets. And I particularly do like that fight scene. With him with a very large man.
Yeah, in the Osato office. That's a really good one.
Yeah, and the helicopter fight's also a great scene. Like there are great stuff in here. I feel like the stuff that I don't like about it ends up outweighing the stuff that I do in my head, and so it's like more negative for me. But I can understand why you would like this one. It has. There's a lot of elements that the 60s Bond movies are going for, and I think this movie pulls off many of those things really well.
I think it's also like it's interesting that it's written by Roald Dahl, because I think there is like there's like an almost fantastical nature to it in a weird way, especially compared to how I feel like Thunderball's plotting and action is so humdrum, and then this comes after it and is as like, you know, it opens in space, you know, and all this shit.
And also the racist elements make sense with Roald Dahl.
yeah, that's true too. Luna's not here, but I did pull her half-star review, which is I'm too woke for this shit. Or I think she this one she gave 1 star. She gave half-star to Casino Royale. She did also like the sets and music. It's hard to deny that part of the.
Yeah, I do think that I don't think this is the most racist Bond film, but it's close. And I also don't think it's the most misogynist Bond film, but it's close.
It's fair.
But again, there are positives to it as well.
Yeah, I would consider this a Bond, like a Sean Connery Bond B-side, but like an upper tier one. Watching with you, Connor, is interesting. Like your enjoyment was infectious, and I could definitely I got all your points, and oh yeah, this fun stuff is fun, but it's not.
It's also not doing anything that the other Bond movies hasn't done.
The fifth round of this now. You have him as doing this, where I could see him being a little sick of it now, and rarely in any series, with one notable exception, is the fifth movie the best movie.
Are you talking about the Halloween movies?
I was actually referring to the Fast and the Furious.
Oh yeah, that's fair. Yeah, no, I would almost compare what you're saying about it. It's what it's doing is the same. To me, it's I think it's kind of why I weirdly Avengers: Age of Ultron as much as I do, because it isn't really doing anything that new, with it, but it's taking everything that I like about it and doing it kind of in one discrete package, and sort of ramping up those things up to the most ridiculous you could get without fully breaking the sort of reality of it.
That's interesting. I agree with you in the sense of this movie. I'm not sure if I would describe Age of Ultron that way, but I do know what you're saying about this one. It's actually the comparison if Goldfinger is perfect Bond, or all the this is sort of like you said, that where you're maybe just ease it back just a little bit. We can do that. We'll really do that. There is some subtlety needed to these things.
I disagree, but it's fine. But yeah, are we ready to? Let me. What do you think, Bri?
All right. I think just that's going to be a lot of my answer for these. I think I'm just realizing it's just not my thing, but I'm appreciating that I'm getting to experience them for the first time.
Yeah.
Outside of those couple that I've seen from the later ones. But
I feel like when we get to the Roger Moore one where he skis down the hill with California Girls playing, you're gonna be this is the best movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm hoping for. I just haven't had that yet.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's fine. I'm not it's not the word. I mean, well, some of the things are pretty terrible, especially what we're talking about soon. But yeah, like I said,
that's not
exactly. But I'm totally glad to be doing them finally, because I don't know if I ever would have done everything like we're doing. So
Sure.
Well, let me. Oh, finally, I didn't do the thing. Let's.
Oh, grow up,
It's
007.
Dad thoughts time. My dad wrote, as with previous Bond films that were discussed, I did not see either of these at the theater when they first came out. I like both films, but I like On Her Majesty's Secret Service more than Yolt. Yolt has one of the best theme songs of the Bond films. The only thing I really didn't like about On Her Majesty's Secret Service is the antagonist. I disagree. I told my dad I disagreed, and he never texted me back. Telly Savalas is a great actor, but I do think he was a very good Blofeld. Certainly not as good as Donald Pleasance in You Only Live Twice. I agree with that part, at least. George Lazenby has been criticized as not being a very good Bond. Part of that criticism is probably because he was not an actor at all. I disagree. For someone who never acted before, I think he did a good job and was very believable. Maybe just not quite as good as Connery. Connery? That's the portmanteau of his first and last name.
Works fine though. Yeah.
The ending of the film mirrors the ending of the book, but still, part of me wishes the ending wasn't so sad. I would have liked to have seen Donald Pleasance reprise his role, as I think he was the consummate Blofeld. Reprise his role? What the fuck am I literally haven't been drinking this episode. But those are what my dad thought about these two movies, which I think he also watched in reverse order again for some reason. But that transitions us over to On Her Majesty's Secret Service. I kind of get it, because technically it doesn't make sense the order they're in. there are plot elements that don't really make sense in this movie if it takes place after You Only Live Twice. Another favorite, and this time I remember because I was telling Jason that we've been watching as a group, me, Bri, Scott, and Luna. And Scott and I have seen them, and Luna and Bri basically have seen none of them. And, You Only Live Twice, I'm like, Bri and Luna kind of negative, and Scott's like, oh, good, but not as enthusiastic. But then this one, we were all really into it. I remember afterwards we like made the joke about like it's Bond goes woke.
Yeah, Bond goes woke and discovered weed. Is basically how it's described.
Very late '60s psychedelic. Some great electronic elements to the score. A Christmas movie, no less. Also, I think like I'm gonna do the summary of Lazenby's story right now because I think it's a fascinating one, which is that he's an Australian. He never acted before. He done modeling. He snuck into the audition. He made up a bunch of acting credits in Australia, which it was late 60s Britain, so they were like, okay, whatever, I guess. And he
checked his IMDb.
Yeah, he got the role. About a week in, he went up to the director and was like, hey, I've never actually acted before. And the director was like, well, you got this far. And even funnier is after the role. I think people talk a lot that they sort of like wanted Connery back immediately because Connery does come back for one more official one after this. But apparently what actually happened is they wanted Lazenby to return, but Lazenby got in with a bunch of pirate radio British 60s hippie types and grew out his hair for the premiere, which they fucking hated apparently. And his buddies convinced them that they were about peace and Bond was about war, and that James Bond was the man, and so he quit. And what a weird story. I think unironically that's the one biopic I want to make. I want to make the George Lazenby biopic because I think it would be really funny. And I know most of this stuff because Lazenby has talked about it a lot, and talks about it very lovingly, like looking back, like, oh, I was such a fucking, what a knucklehead I was, kind of.
How could you not?
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I just kind of fucked my way into a Bond movie.
Yeah.
And then I fucked my way out.
yeah, exactly. Like I can see in my head the biopic. Act 1 begins, he gets the role. Act 2 is when he quits. You know what I mean? And then like maybe the beginning and the ending are like a little more fictionalized. It would almost like work, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind kind of adaptation style. But yeah, the movie opens. MQ and Moneypenny are all the same, and they don't know where 007 is because he's on a flirty car chase. He meets the girl, Diana Rigg. Tracy, maybe my favorite Bond girl. Certainly one of the Bond girls with, I would say, more character substance than a lot of them. She's trying to, mostly because she's fucking depressed. Which is a big mood. She's trying to kill herself down on the beach, and he saves her before some thugs show up to grab her and tie him up. A fight ensues, and she escapes. And also, it should be noted that if in this scene and a couple of other scenes, Bond is wearing the poofy shirt, the pirate shirt.
Yeah, Jerry Seinfeld picked up on it after.
Yeah.
That's where he got his inspiration.
And then we get...
I would say a lot of the costumes, like the outfits that like Lazenby wears, it's just something that like Connery it wouldn't have worked on. You know what I mean? Like, can you imagine Sean Connery in that puffy shirt? Like,
yeah. I feel like he would have said a lot of F slurs as he was putting it on.
We haven't really got into discussing it too, but like, because we said Madman before, like, Connery was Don Draper's, like, kind of gentleman, you know what I mean? Like, that kind of guy, where, like, Lazenby is very much of in the 60s. Like, yeah, Connery is a 50s man. Even though, like, the movies take place in the 60s, he's a man from the 50s. Yeah. Lazenby we've now hit 60s Bond. Yeah, and you know what? I'd say Roger Moore is a very good 70s Bond. And like, I don't know, fuck it.
Yeah, no, they most decades found their Bond. It is interesting. I think people have talked about would this have been a better movie with Connery? And I think on a rewatch, I think no, because I do think Lazenby kind of gives a softer side to Bond that works better with the story. I mean, I think that Connery is a more charismatic actor than Lazenby. Like, he obviously has more screen presence. But I don't necessarily think it would have worked better with him on a rewatch.
Yeah, this movie kind of feels to me like an attempt at bringing Bond into a new decade.
Yeah.
Of like bringing Bond, not necessarily like completely changing who the character is, but maybe leaving some of the worst elements behind. And it's kind of depressing that didn't really happen. You have this one movie that's like this little oasis.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell they were planning, like, not necessarily a full reboot, but like we're starting something new. This is the start of a new era. Because even like the theme, it was the same theme, but had a little different flair to it. Yeah. And like the whole thing felt like I said, start of a new era. Mm-hmm. And then, never mind. We're just gonna
fuck it. Whatever.
They kind of pulled a Marvel and like, no Kane. Anyways, Robert Downey Jr. is back. Hey.
Yeah. This is also, and I could be wrong about this, but I think this is the only Bond film that was directed by a gay man. Like, the director is queer, and
it's directed by Peter R. Hunt, who was the editor of the first 5 films. Yeah. And I believe would later end up in Charles Bronson hell by the 80s. But
yeah, that's funny.
It's interesting, since we're talking about the director, we'll kind of cut into your talking about the movie, but like you could kind of tell the director has a history of editing, because the action is like so chaotic, but also cohesive. Yeah. Like you don't not know what's happening, but it's also just a lot, you know, but really great. Yeah. Like some really great action in this one.
He was a pretty revolutionary editor at the time, and like really defined the feel of Bond movies. Like there's something he does in action sequences where like he will snip individual frames out to make like punches hit harder.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, sure. Really, really minute things like that that give it a feel that's unique.
And you can see it here, like almost pushed to like its like limit in a good way, where it's like there are some fight scenes in this where it's like kind of almost like jump cuts between like different hits that are happening, but it works. Like we can logically follow it, and it like the rhythm of it feels good, even if
that's what I mean by like chaotic but cohesive. Like
there's dynamic and all over the place.
It's done with a purpose.
But
and just understanding, I think even technology, like you can tell all along, he wasn't one of those who were like, oh, I now got to figure this shit out. Like he was obviously going along as it had been growing, and he was able to utilize it a lot, just so well.
Yeah. There's so many scenes in this movie where you can tell the director understands how it's going to be assembled.
Yeah, definitely. Like again, like you said, like knowing how to like cut a frame, it's in your head already that I'm going to do this and I'm going to shoot it initially for that. So when I cut it, you know, like those little things, that's all the difference.
But yeah, before the credits, we get the most meta aspect in the movie where George Lazenby quips, "This never happened to the other fella." And then you get the credits with a great electronic theme and some great visuals, though it does seem to confirm Yolt happened, which doesn't really make sense. So in the books, this book comes before Yolt, and what happens at the end is set up for Yolt, essentially. But what's weird about it is in this movie, Bond and Blofeld seem to have never met each other, even though they obviously did in You Only Live Twice.
Yeah, I kind of viewed the intro credit stuff with the footage and stuff as like the producers, the director, worried about the cast change.
Yeah.
About this being seen as like a new direction, wanting to tie it back to the old movies and being like, you know, we are making some changes, but this is still James Bond.
That is, I mean, they do that. There is that scene later where he's looking at like I left this out because it's like not that important to the narrative, but he's looking at these trinkets in his office from it's like 3 of the previous films, but I will say it's not You Only Live Twice. I think it's something from Dr. No, it's something from Thunderball, and it's something from one of the other 2. But yeah. At a hotel, Bond finds out Tracy is Contessa Teresa. There's some good filmmaking here. There's like this fade on the pool that I really like when it cuts to night. Also some like crazy Dario Argento style lighting. But
yeah, the lighting was ripped. It was awesome, actually. That was my favorite part, I think.
Bunko, baby. This Bond is very... I was thinking, because, like, you can already tell there's, like, a different vibe with him. You know, the fact that, like, the first thing he does is, like, save a woman. But I was like, it'd be funny if this Bond's issue is that he's, like, really pro-gambling. Like, he keeps, like, looking at the screen and be like, you know, go to draftpicks.com. And Tracy throws in too much and has to be bailed out by Bond. Bond goes to Tracy's room but is ambushed. Back in his own room, Tracy waits for Bond. She wants to pay him back, but he says she doesn't owe her a thing. They have sex anyway, and the next day she's gone. Bond leaves the hotel, is picked up by a bunch of guys from last night, taken to Draco of Draco Construction, a huge criminal guy who also is Tracy's father. Draco wants Bond to, I don't know, fuck some sense into Tracy. It's a weird relationship.
I want you to sleep with my beautiful daughter.
To Bond's credit, Draco
There's
is...
no question what was worse in this movie, the sexism and the racism.
Yeah. But to be fair, I think what's interesting about it is they isolate a lot of that to Draco specifically.
It doesn't make it the feel of the film. It's one character's point of view.
And I would say Bond, and especially Tracy, go up against that and like push back at that in different scenes in a way where you can tell that like they disagree. Because
like that is an arc where at the end she has not budged on that one bit.
I think that's why she's like my favorite Bond girl, because she's just like, there's like multiple times in the movie where she's like, fuck it. There's one that's coming up in a minute that is one of my favorites. Draco promises a huge dowry, but Bond is only interested in info about Blofeld. And meanwhile, Bond is dismissed from the Blofeld case, and Bond tries to resign, is given leave instead. MI6 would be in shambles without Moneypenny, basically tricking everybody into not quitting.
She kind of runs the show there.
And that's a nice moment too. Tracy shows up to some Corsican bull wrestling dressed like Zantana for her dad's birthday. And this is the moment I was mentioning a second ago. She knows about the arrangement and basically tells her dad to fuck off and just give Bond the info already. But Bond is a gentleman and Tracy is genuinely troubled, so they hang out a bunch and fall in love while Louis Armstrong croons. And
that whole scene is so well done. And like it takes its time where like for a second you almost forget you're watching a Bond film there. Like it's just like a 60s romance.
This is one of the only Bond movies where I feel like his relationship with the woman he's interested in is affectionate rather than just like lustful.
Mechanical.
I think it literally it's like this one and then a couple of the Daniel Craig ones. I
think this one actually does that aspect even better than like the modern Daniel Craig ones. Like I agree with you. I think those are the only ones, but I think this one really does the relation. Like it's one of the few relationships I actually buy and care about.
Yeah. And credit to Diana Rigg also, who's great in the movie. It's funny too. Even by the end of that sequence, Draco, the dad, is like almost like a little unnerved by how much they like each other. Which is a funny moment. Gumbold, the guy Draco tipped Bond off about, leaves his office for long enough so Bond can get in, goof around, and get some files. Some nice gumshoeing around here. Bond heads to M and gives him the details. Blofeld is posing as Count de Beauchamp and is trying to get his title recognized, his like Count title. Blofeld is to meet with Hilary Bray, a guy involved with like titles, or he's from like the Royal College of some such or other. And Bond is going to go as Hilary Bray with his permission. And I like, there's a funny scene where we meet the Hilary Bray and he's just like, he's like, I'm excited. I get to go do some brass rubbings. Like, no worry. We find out that real de Beauchamps don't have earlobes, and Also, Bond is Scottish. This book came out after the first Connery one, and Fleming liked Connery so much that he made Bond Scottish. Also, we get the Bond family motto, "The world is not enough," which would eventually be used as a film title in exactly 30 years.
Wow.
We head to Switzerland. Bond is being trailed by an MI6 dude, and he's picked up by Bunt. Bond plays very clueless. This reminds me a lot of the bit in because Bond is like pretending, he's like putting on a voice, he's pretending like he doesn't know all these languages, he's pretending like he gets airsick, and it reminds me a lot of in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade when they go to the castle towards the middle of the movie, and Indy is like putting on a voice and pretending to be someone else, and then once more Bond is cucked by a helicopter. James Bond 2, Helicopters 4. The top of the mountain is only accessible to the Count and his buddies. There's a lot of it's funny too, we were watching this the other week, and there's a lot of Winter Olympic stuff in this movie too. Like almost,
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
every Winter Olympic sport is represented at some point. You know, bobsledding, shuffleboard, stock car racing.
Yeah, I feel like every 4 years I'm gonna have to watch this movie now. Like after every Olympics, like be like, all right, that's the way to.
Did we find out if it was shot around the Olympics or something? Because like I said, there was a lot of there's just a lot of stuff together.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of the time, because 2026, so this was how many years ago? 69, would it be 68? Was there a Winter Olympics?
It would have been filmed in 68?
Probably, and so that'd be, 8 years plus 58 years is not divided by 4, so no, I think this would have been right in the middle, actually. I think this would have been an off-season, or like the year before or something.
They used to do them like 4 and 4. They used to have them all the same year.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that's fair. So maybe it was. At this great mountaintop base, the Count's Institute for Allergy Research, Bond is shown to his room, which has Star Trek doors that only unlock from the outside, which I guess is fine because it's a hospital or whatever. Seems suspicious to me. At dinner, Bond arrives dressed to the nines in his Scottish getup. There's a bunch of beautiful ladies, patients, and they're all very silly and flirty with him. The food they eat is stuff they used to be allergic to. One lady, Ruby, who reminds me of Nancy Allen, is really into him and writes her room number on his leg and lipstick. And he has the quip about he has a little stiffness coming on.
This is a very minor thing, but I do actually laugh whenever I see that 8 because it's so perfectly written.
It is a very well written 8.
It shouldn't have been, but it's just like a perfect solid 8.
She's done this before.
Yeah.
This is not the first person she's invited to her room.
Yeah. Then Bond heads to Gotham City, and Mr. Freeze's lair, actually just an ice cave set, that becomes Blofeld's labs and office, which fucking rules. Some more incredible set design. That's what we got behind me is Blofeld's office looking out onto his laboratory. Blofeld and Bond meet and are already arguing about the Count title. Later, Bond does his homework but gets bored and decides to hang out with Ruby, so he escapes by MacGrubering some shit. He sneaks in after Bond and Ruby fuck. He's more interested in info than pillow talk, when suddenly the lights above her bed go all psychedelic. It's part of her cure, hypnosis. And he's teaching them something else too. And two things about this moment always make me laugh. I mean, it's a great moment, but also like I love Telly Savalas' voice just going, "Do you remember how much you hated chicken?" And then I also think it's funny because there's this like eerie music playing, and then when he leaves the room, we hear it in the background as if the music's actually playing in the room, which is funny.
Yeah.
Back in his own room, a different girl has snuck in, and he uses the exact same lines on her that he did with Ruby, and he's worried about having to cut.
If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
What I really like about this whole segment is it's one of the few times in the Bond series where like you see his like interactions, his sexual encounters with women as part of his job.
Yes, yeah.
It's like this is very clearly a thing he's doing for work, that he's turning on the horniness.
Yeah. Well, he literally has some quip that kind of implies he's like worried about having to come again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next day, Bond's MI6 dude is trying to get to the top, but security has stopped him. Bond plays shuffleboard and is bad at it. There's a joke about, is your stiffness all gone? Bond confirms that Blofeld is Count de Blochamp, even though Blofeld is still a dick about it for some reason. And Bond makes dates with the girls for later, which he tries to visit Ruby, but it's an ambush. And got a great. I love the little sequence where he's like knocked out, and it's like cutting between his face and the Christmas tree topper. And it's like like fate. It's like a rack focus back and forth is happening, I think, is what's going on. Bond and Blofeld cut the shit. No one's coming for Bond. Blofeld's plan: control the economy of the whole world using disease warfare and killing crops. The girls are his angels of death, even though he doesn't specify exactly how that's going to happen. Bond's buddy has been killed. I like Telly Savalas, the "you perverse British, how you love your exercise," as the guy is like hung upside down or whatever. Also, the way Telly Savalas holds a cigarette is like fucking crazy. Where he's doing this move. I don't know if you guys remember that, or no, it's this.
Oh, yeah.
It's this actually. He's like,
I don't. Yeah, it didn't resonate.
It's very
That's
interesting. It's a.
This is.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, you go ahead.
This is a minor pickup that I didn't get the first time I watched this movie, and this could be entirely me just reading into this, but it is interesting that the villain's plan in this movie is specifically like he's going to control fertility rates for different animals and potentially the threat of human beings and stuff. And it's interesting that the only Bond movie that's directed by a gay dude is like, I'm gonna stop the breeders.
That's a really good point. Like, what can I get away with? They won't notice.
I don't know.
Pretty great.
Like you could really attribute that to the director, but
it's funny.
Just something I picked up on.
Hey, as a queer person who doesn't like children, I'm all for that. So, sign me up.
I agree.
Bond is thrown into a gear room of the ski lift, which kind of looks like an old FMV game. Bond is able to escape in a fun sequence, and he finds the girls under hypnosis. This is a well-edited bit, too, where it's like cross-cutting between these two scenes. They're given a gift basket with a communicator in it and plans to check it, and an atomizer that does something. I forget if they ever like really specify, but clearly the idea is the atomizer has some sort of version of this virus that Blofeld has made. So, this girl's near like a wheat place, so she was going to destroy the wheat grains, whatever. Some great sinister score here, and Bond also has a great cunty blue outfit when a ski chase ensues. Fun stuff. Bond gets one ski
chase.
Yeah, Bond gets one.
A really good one.
Bond gets one ski shot off and has to go down on one. I think my favorite moment is when Bond knocks the guy out and he falls forever.
He does fall for so long.
He's still falling, I think.
It's so good. In town, the girls head off on a bus as Bond tries to hide from Bunt and her goons at an ice dancing festival or something. Bond is spooked by a polar bear furry before Tracy shows up to save him, having been told where he was by her father. And they are very cute together, like we said earlier. They have genuine. I like. She's driving in this like chase, and he's just like giving her encouraging smooches. And,
this is like one of my favorite moments in the movie because the car chase scene is very good, but also him constantly leaning over and giving her little kisses and stuff.
And I like.
So proud of her.
Yeah, and I like also like she tries to kiss him and like has to swerve, and his line about like just keep my mind on your driving. Bunt catches them and chases them into a stock car race, which is my favorite Winter Olympic. With another great quip when they finally escape and Tracy says we didn't even stop for the prize. Bond and Tracy bunk up in a barn. He proposes to her and she accepts. He's going to quit the service. He pretends like he's not going to fuck her, but then they definitely fuck after he sabotages her bed. And another cute line.
He's still Bond.
Yeah. Another cute line I like is they're talking about where they're going to live, and he says, like, I wonder how much they're asking for this place. The next morning, the bad guys find the car, but Bond and Tracy are already skiing down the mountain. Another chase ensues, and they ski over a bunch of houses. One guy is eaten by like a bobsled driller in a great moment. He's full of guts. Blofeld starts an avalanche to try and get him. Bond and Tracy make it out with their lives. Blofeld assumes Bond is dead and takes Tracy hostage. We cut back to London. M informs Bond that they're going to give in to what Blofeld wants, which is amnesty. M doesn't give a fuck about Tracy, so Bond makes a call to Tracy's dad instead, and it's copter time. And while Bond is, I believe, writing, I'm going to give this one to both, as Bond did arrange it this time. So, on our final update of tonight, James Bond 3, Helicopters 5. So
James Bond, you in your ass.
Yeah, what an upset. You hate to see it, folks. The sheer, I'm thinking about the lady in Spider-Man 3, like the sheer brutality of it.
Anyways, we're gonna keep filming.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Tracy is being sassy to Blofeld, who has zero game. Bond and Draco approach in helicopters, pretending to be the Red Cross. Some like cool John Carpentry Moog score here. Also a really great cut when Blofeld and Tracy are talking, and then it cuts like further into the conversation, and they're like on the elevator. And then big action scene time. Draco's men and Bond descend upon the compound. Tracy fights her way out with a broken bottle, and we finally get the Bond theme. This movie in a great moment, and fucking flamethrowers and shit. This reminds me a lot of Inception, of like not the very end of Inception, but the almost deepest. The part that was supposed to be the deepest layer in the original plan.
Before Leo goes into the final one. Like we're two old men.
Mm-hmm. And
they are they are very similar also in the way that they don't women aren't actually anything more than just there. So that's pretty good.
Also.
Wait, what was that again?
What was that?
Dead wife.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well,
no spoilers.
They even rig the place to blow like an Inception. Draco extracts his daughter with unnecessary roughness as Bond goes after Blofeld. More wild shit explosions. A scientist tries to throw acid on Bond. The flasks, I like these, like the flask wigglers. All the naughty liquids will be put in the flask wigglers. Bond uncovers all of Blofeld's plan before giving chase, a bobsled chase. Bond's sled has this great checker designed. Bond and Blofeld are shooting at each other. Bond jumps on Blofeld's sled and they tussle and almost crash. Finally, Bond throws Blofeld into a branch, saying he's branched off, which is not as good as some of the other quips in the movie. Kind of.
All right, Bond.
Bond stops.
That fight scene was great.
Yeah.
That one, really, really well done. Really, like, just top tier action.
Yeah. And
hard to film something like that, but they managed.
Yeah, and it looks good, and it holds up. Like, it feels good too. It doesn't feel. I mean, like, there's like, aspects of it that feel dated. Like, it obviously is like an old movie, but it's like it like the momentum of it holds up and is fun.
Definitely, like in a way that like doesn't happen even in some of the Connery films. Like even the one You Only Live Twice. Like the ending is fine. It's fun. Like. Or whatever, but like that, especially that bobsled scene and the ski chase scene, like those are just great set pieces.
Yeah,
this was the one I was just least bored at. I think the entire time, like I was fully just kind of like, I'm into this,
and it's one of the longest too. Like I think, and weirdly, I mean. I think what makes the movie so good is that it uses that extra time to deepen the Bond Tracy stuff, That's where the extra time comes in. But then that ends up like making everything else kind of more meaningful. Bond stops the sled and a big Beethoven dog comes up to him. What a treat. Later, James and Tracy's wedding, get some nice little moment. Em and Draco are trading stories. There's some Corsican traditions. Cute congrats Bond, and it's cute. Draco tries to be sexist again, but she once again tells him to fuck off, and Bond gives him back the dowry. When leaving, Moneypenny seems genuinely upset. Bond tosses her his hat, which makes Q upset because he's not respecting government property.
Yeah, but that's a genuinely nice moment between those two. Yeah. Like, where like it's just always funny. It's like, oh, there's like some affection there.
Yeah, it is. I will say it is interesting with like Lois Maxwell and George Lazenby, because Lois Maxwell is basically the same age as Connery and Roger Moore, but she's like 12 years older than George Lazenby, and you could definitely tell she's a little older. Driving away, Bond and Tracy talk that she wants a big family. They say the thing, we have all the time in the world. She finally wants to live. People honk at them because of all the flowers in their car, and they pull over to remove them. And suddenly Bunt and Blofeld show up and tries to gun them both down, but they only get Tracy. And in a huge bummer ending, Bond sits there sad, saying they have all the time in the world. And that's the end, baby. Then that Bond theme comes in like a fucking sledgehammer. You'll be back, and diamonds are forever.
It should almost say like, "Don't worry, Bond will be fucking soon." All right, don't feel too bad for him.
But yeah, great movie. I love this one.
Yeah, great, absolutely. Does anyone know how like that ending played back then? Like how it was received?
I don't know. TBH. I wonder about that, because you would think people would be like, like what? Like, oh no. But I mean, I don't know. Like I don't know what the reception was exactly. Maybe I'll look into that for.
Yeah, because none of them ended, and I would say any of them after ended anywhere like that.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what it was? When did it come out? Before or after 2001: Space Odyssey? Because I'm curious. I'm curious if the audience would just be like, "Look, we're fucked. We don't even know what we're watching anymore." After that,
they were ready. It was the 70s. They were like, "We're here for The Exorcist, The Godfather. We're prepped.
Yeah,
we're prepped." I went from On Her Majesty's Secret Service to Rosemary's Baby, baby.
That was the Barbenheimer of the
day. On Her Majesty's Secret Baby.
There's a moment earlier in the movie in the hotel where James Bond, like, he goes back to his room and he's unbuttoning his frilly shirt, and like Tracy's hand reaches into frame to grab the gun, and I thought this was an interesting reversal of, like, there's a lot of scenes with Bond where like he comes in on a woman undressing, and this is like a woman coming in on him undressing, and then there's later reversals with she's in control of the car during the chase that they're having, and this, more than any other movie, like any other Bond film of the era, I feel presents her as much of an equal as like a woman is ever allowed to be in one of these movies.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But then you're just gonna die. You only get these rights first. Yeah, exactly. Enough of this. We're letting everybody know this is not going to be sticking around.
Yeah. Okay? So, are you paying attention, lady?
They're just ticking that woke box back in the day, like, all right, we got it done for them.
But yeah, great film. Yeah.
One thing I'd say about this movie is, like, it felt, especially when you're watching a series, it feels like if this were a TV show, this would be like one of those episodes where, like, don't get most of the main character, like one of those, like, weird, like, almost side. Even though it is still a Bond movie and stuff, I think it's just because, like, tonally, it ends differently, and it's Lazenby and stuff. Like, it just feels like its own like little pocket universe of, like, they tried something, it didn't really go anywhere, and then especially because, like, the next one went back to Connery, it's like, we're kind of back to that. So yeah, it does feel like. Like, I've never watched Lost, but I know there's several episodes that kind of like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
And like, we're just doing our thing. You're just doing a little side thing.
Yeah. And now in the 70s, the psychedelic fun 60s will get warmed over into a nightmare. Especially
well, I think it goes from like we discovered weed to we discovered psychedelics fully.
But
and cocaine, delicious.
And cocaine,
delicious cocaine.
delicious cocaine.
Speaking of nightmares, I think it's time for us to move on
and cocaine.
to our third film that we're talking about today, the 1967 Casino Royale. Why does this exist? Because we talked two Bond clubs ago about how somebody got the rights to Casino Royale, the novel, for the Climax TV show, and then in the 60s, when the main movies were successful, they said, hey, you know what? Fuck it. Let's use those rights again, and we'll make something that doesn't make any sense. Uniquely bad. 6 directors, quote-unquote, suggested by the novel. Though I do think this... I know there's like a fan theory about Bond with all the recasts that it's like different guys who have been... given the same name and code name, and I wonder if that started with this movie, honestly.
I wouldn't be surprised, because it was almost like, how can we like do as much Bond without completely doing Bond?
I have a more truncated summary, but I'm gonna try to get through this fast. We got stuff to go. On the set of Roar, a bunch of suits visit the OG Bond, David Niven, who doesn't like the new Bond, who is all about fucking women, explosions, and gadgets. The suits want Bond to be a leader, and they convince him by blowing up his house. David Niven then spends the next 80 years at a Scottish house. So I guess M died off screen, and Bond goes to confront his widow and daughters. But apparently it's a plan by Smersh to fuck with his image. And I think all of this is based... I think the joke here... I think I'm going to be saying this a couple times in the summary. I think the joke is just a bunch of Scottish racism, right? Like, isn't what's going... I mean, like, obviously, who cares that much? But it's also, like, it's plot-wise, it's like The Wicker Man, also, at this point. The original one.
But there were also some terribly bad accents.
Eventually, like, gets to, like... or whatever and stuff, and like I remember there's a certain point where it's like, oh, I thought this is what I thought the movie was going to be. Why did we just spend 20 minutes in Scottish Wickerman land? Like,
Bond figures it out. There's a ball falls through the floor. It's kind of the shit Edwin would love. Watching a comedy this old and this bad is like trying to read Old English. It's like you recognize it as like the same language, but you're like, what? What is this? Are these words mean in this order? There's some cool set design. I like this. This is the one I chose. This one's pretty early, this Smersh Operation set. But there was a bunch of really cool sets. Anyways, M's widow becomes a Bond M's widow becomes a nun when Bond spurns her. At MI6, Bond kisses Moneypenny's daughter and takes over M's job, and we're finally back to the main plot. We're introduced to Jimmy Bond, Niven's nephew, played by Woody Allen, who is fucking awful in this movie. Though
I will say, though, he got some of the biggest laughs from me. Like his introduction scene. When he escapes the shooting gallery, the
written gag where he jumps over a wall to escape from getting an execution shot, and he just lands on the same thing happening. Is pretty funny. I guess the plan is British intelligence is going to make spies immune to horniness. And call everyone James Bond, including a new guy, Cooper. Coop! We're gonna make all the spies not horny anymore, Coop.
He goes into a rant about Monica Bellucci out of nowhere.
I had the Ursula Andress dream again. It's wrong to hit women. However, I feel like if you say no to a kiss and she insists, you are allowed to judo flip her. OG Bond recruits Vesper Lynn, played by Bond girl Ursula Andress. She heads off into a different movie to hang out with Peter Sellers, who is pretty unfunny in this, but at least has screen presence. He is Evelyn Tremble, another Bond who is recruited to play Bunko against Le Chiffre, and then he dresses up like Hitler for some reason.
As one does, I guess. I mean, honestly, in the world we are right now, that it wasn't that anything I first said. I'm like, actually, I'm seeing that isn't that Dan Bongino doing it again?
Yeah.
Or one of those idiots are still doing it. So
we get some Mata Hari stuff. I guess OG Bond was in love with Mata Hari, and they had a kid who was Mata Bond, and he goes to recruit her. A lot of cool visuals here, though. Kind of reminds me of the opening of Temple Doom with that Temple of Doom with the like dance number and that non-space when they go into that mouth. And I do like the joke of like, do you speak English? And the guy's just like, no. Pretty funny. In Berlin, West Berlin is all normal, and then over the wall, everything is Argento red and a great set. And Mata heads into another great set, like some like Cabinet of Dr. Calamari, Tim Burton shit.
She just ends up in a German expressionist film.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, what was like Nicholas Winding Refn shit's coming out of nowhere. I was like, all right.
Yeah, there's like a Resident Evil character. There's like a guy with like a battery heart and and shit. And I think it's supposed to be like a Black Widow style like training school almost. I think is like the vibe you get. It's like a training ballerina assassins. And then, funnily enough, another actor from the official Bond films, Kronstein from Russia with Love, the chess player, shows up as Chef's assistant. Anyways, I guess she figures out something about Chef and causes a bunch of comic chaos, and everyone is laughing. It's great. It's everyone's having a great time. I understand every joke that's happening here. Including the one where Tom Jones is playing out of a sewer, which I think is a reference to a previous film by the producer and some of the actors, but it's like a joke in hieroglyphics or something. There's some Peter Sellers business around here. He gets drugged by a lady named Good Thighs and has a weird dream. Who cares? Bunko time, baby. The real star of the show, the actual best performance in the movie, Mr. Orson Welles shows up as Chef. And does a bunch of magic, which rules, and it feels like something. I feel like that is something that was not in the script, and Orson Welles shows up and is like, "Listen, I'll do this, but I want to do some magic also."
Yeah, I feel like he started a whole new movie when he just got on there. He was like, "No, I'm doing this. This is my movie now." And man,
because this is probably the best part. Like, you can see here, maybe what the better version of the movie would be. The Baccarat scene is, other than Sellers doing a bunch of racist accents, which, to be fair, he was kind of known for at the time. It's a pretty fun Baccarat scene. Later, Lind is kidnapped and Sellers has a racing car, and we jump cut to Sellers is captured by Orson Welles. Who cares? Sellers is psychologically tortured. There's interesting shots here. Then Lind saves Sellers and Orson is killed by Smersh. And then in the last act, Mata is kidnapped by a flying saucer. Everyone heads to Casino Royale, which is actually Smersh headquarters, run by Dr. Noah, who's revealed to be Woody Allen. Great. I guess
I don't think Sellers was saved in that scene. I think Sellers was killed inexplicably.
Oh, really? He just dies in that scene? Okay.
She kills him.
Oh, okay.
She turns the machine gun on him and shoots him, and then it cuts to a shot of the dead bodies because they didn't actually have a shot with him dead because he left the film and refused to film any more scenes. Yep. And so they just have him assassinated for no reason during that.
Did he leave because he was sick of it, or just like, this thing is a disaster?
Yeah, no, he hated filming it. He hated Orson Welles. Orson Welles hated him.
That's fair.
But he didn't like the movie. He actually brought on his own writer to rewrite all of his lines.
Oh, wow.
So all of his lines are written by an entirely different person.
Hell yeah.
It is like coming in and doing a different movie completely.
Yeah.
Stutter being just like, also I have a stutter.
Yeah.
I guess Woody Allen's plan is to create a short king paradise on Earth. Creepy stuff. He swallows an atom bomb pill around here. Also, I was gonna get your ass, Jason, about you almost, when I was a kid on your old podcast, you almost got me really into Woody Allen. like movies.
My apologies.
By talking them up a lot. So you have a lot to reckon with.
I loved Love and Death.
Yeah. It should be said, lots of cool sets around here again. All our Bonds escape using like Willy Wonka plants. I don't know. There's a Frankenstein. Who cares? I think around here I started laughing like a madman a little bit. Some double crosses. American Aid arrives. And it's like guys on horses, which is pretty funny, actually. There's a comic cavalcade ensues, and the bomb in Woody Allen's stomach blows up, and everyone dies and goes to heaven except Woody Allen. I think everyone knows exactly why. The end. Yeah, Luna's half-star review was "Go fuck yourself, Woody Allen."
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I was going to say that for her if you didn't.
I would like you to know that the guy who played Frankenstein is the guy who was it's David Prowse from Star Wars as Darth Vader.
Oh hell yeah!
that's
really
him.
Funny, actually. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's Casino Royale. It's like, I mean, I would watch it again for like a Monday night movie night, mostly so I could like get Paul's reaction to it. Honestly, like because the movie is just like kind of incomprehensible in a way. It is. Yeah.
I'm of this group definitely the big defender of this movie. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's a good movie, but I do think it's accidentally like almost like a Dadaist masterpiece.
Yeah,
like
Dadaist is really a lot of heavy lifting on Dadaist there.
Yeah.
It's funny because I even think like, and this is entirely accidental, like because of the genre that's it's in and what it's spoofing. Like it almost slides into Dadaist politics too. Like it feels like a Dadaist film, and as you're watching it, it's like it's kind of like you have different signals coming in and different movies. Like at some point you've started watching another movie and you don't remember when it switched.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was especially difficult for me because I definitely fell asleep during part of it, and I woke up and like, what is happening? Huh? And like, you're just talking about like Peter Sellers died, he's not in the rest of it. Is like, is that true? I told him. Like,
I was I was doing notes on it. I didn't even clock that. I don't know what happened. You know,
which is also why I kind of want to watch it. Like, not for years, not for a very, very, very long time. But I guess, like, yeah, if it came up again for that sort of thing, no, Pee-wee's Big Adventures would be my deathbed movie.
What is?
I can confidently say I'm never going to be revisiting this.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure would be mine.
But yeah, I like the combination of the movie not having any kind of center whatsoever, with the amount of money that it seems to have been poured into it.
Yeah.
And so it's you're like the fight breaks out in the casino, and all of a sudden you have a shot of two seals whacking at each other. It's
like a monkey in a wig.
Why are these things here? It's because they could afford to hire an animal trader to come and bring them.
The roulette wheel spins off like a drone.
I will say, like, it is clear they spend a lot of money on this movie. Like,
which makes it good.
When we were watching it, like, we were saying, we were getting, like, it felt like a Monday night, movie night type of movie that just happened to have a budget. But, you know, if The Last Vampire on Earth or whatever had the budget of Twilight, I don't think the movie would have been with the same kid, you know, like, maybe the lighting would have been a little bit better, but other than that, like, it would have been the same movie. So
well,
wild stuff.
Let's move on before the game real quick to Bond music rankings. We got five films to rank today, or not 5 films, 5 songs. I have Luna's thoughts for each one. I'll start with her thoughts. You Only Live Twice, she gave a 5 out of 10. Title doesn't even make sense. There's like 17 Bonds, but I disagree with her. I think You Only Live Twice is S tier. But what do other people think?
Yeah, I love that one. That yeah, I mean, like you said, it's used outside of the Bond universe. It's in Mad Men. I think it's a good song. And yeah, the lyrics work in a way that like Thunderball, it's like, oh, you just got to line some words together and make it sound like kind of like a cool dude.
Yeah.
But this seems like it's a song that's saying something.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
deep,
think
but
it's a haunting song. It's beautiful S tier. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I think.
Yeah, and then the intro of the song like adds a few, and just like, dreamlike. Yeah, I like it a lot.
And it actually has like cultural relevance. That's because again, that's where I picked it up on. I was like, oh, I know this.
Mm-hmm. Cool. I think we're agreed. We're quorum on that one. Next up, the Honor Majesty's Secret Service theme, which Luna gave 10 out of 10, no notes, S rank. I don't know if it's S rank, but I think it's really high because I think it is a really good like opening theme.
You don't have the clips by chance, do you? Like random,
no, I don't think we could do it anyways for like legal reasons.
Yeah.
That's why I made that playlist before. I made a playlist beforehand, and people can always just look up. If you look up Honor Majesty's Secret Service theme, you'll get it. What do people think? What do people think about this one?
Yeah, I like it. It's definitely, I wouldn't say S tier. That's
Yeah,
reserved for a little bit. A good one, and like I said, like it felt, had this been an era that continued, it felt like a statement of like we're doing something new. It's still Bond, but it's Bond of a new day. So I don't know, A or B.
What do you think, Jason?
Yeah, I think it's a good song. I'm also split between A and B. Like I think it's really hard with like how iconic, how like well orchestrated, how catchy the Bond theme is to like make a new theme in that universe and have it be almost as good.
Yeah.
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 So
let's do A.
This is S tier. Sorry, I just had to do a listen real quick, and I agree with that.
I think I would go with A. You guys would go with A, B. Luna, Bri, S. So I think we'll go with A. I think is the overall the sort of overall consensus opinion. All right, next up, Louis Armstrong's We Have All the Time in the World, which Luna gave a 7 out of 10, but I think is also very good and should also be very near the top. But what do other people think? That's the We Got All the Time in the World.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's just, it felt more like a needle drop than anything else, and just like it was a good moment capture.
Yeah.
B plus A, I guess,
B.
comparatively.
Yeah, I'd say I'd put it in B.
What do you think, Jason?
Yeah, I'm probably around B. Like I like the song. It's not one that comes to me.
Yeah.
It's not one I think about. Like I think it's a good song, but it's yeah.
Well, we'll go with B. I would like it higher, but I think the consensus is everyone's saying B. I think that Luna would be okay with that too. Next up, the Casino Royale Herb Alpert and his Tijuana Brass theme, which Luna gave a 0 out of 10. What is this? This is not a Bond theme. This is the dumpster fire outside of a Mr. Beast burger. And I'm going to agree.
I'm going with that answer 100%.
Yeah, hey, F by association, honestly.
Yeah,
right?
for sure. And that whole context needs to be there too, because it's perfectly worded.
We don't have an F tier or a D tier yet, and I think this would be a good F tier for us.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Well, I like this song.
Okay.
I don't love this song. I'm not going to spend a lot of time defending it. I think
you pull out a piece of paper and just start going off on a monologue. That would be fantastic. By the way.
I think this is I think it fits the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a piece of shit.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with that part. And I like, there's like certain Herb Alpert Tijuana Brass stuff I like. And this is, I would say, not is a weaker cut, I would say. But I think everyone else wants to do F. So if you don't hard disagree, Jason, I think we're gonna put it there.
I think F's too harsh for
You
this.
think F is too harsh?
I mean, that's. I think it's too harsh. I wouldn't argue higher than D, but
Right, you've made a D minus.
Okay. It is. I guess it's. Yeah. I don't know. I kind of don't want to budge on F, honestly.
I love horns. I love the. I don't know. It's got a sort of childlike charm to it.
I mean, if we're all going F and you're arguing D, that's going to average out to F.
Well, I'm not arguing D. I'm just saying I wouldn't argue. Like if I'm actually like making my own personal list, then I'm probably putting it like in C tier.
I still think that evens out to F. So
maybe F plus.
Yeah, maybe. If that was a thing.
Yeah, especially because we're giving it a hard F, like a 0. It's not even.
Yeah. It's just like fuck this.
I've said my piece.
And then lastly, the better song from the movie, the most iconic part of the film, is a much more famous song than the movie, "The Look of Love," which Luna gave an 8 out of 10. Good jazz, and I actually agree with that one too.
It shocked me because I've known this song for a long time. To know that it came from this movie.
Yeah.
The movie's way more famous than the. I mean, the song is way more famous than the movie.
Yeah, I was just like, what? This is like, wow. Yeah, I mean, I love that song. I'd give it A tier. Like.
Yeah, when it's in the Austin Powers movie, Austin Powers is just doing the Peter Sellers on the bed.
Yeah, the flopping around
movie.
I mean, that's the first place I heard it from, so I guess it does kind of make sense that it came from a Smokey Bond movie. But I don't know. I felt like, yeah, whatever. But yeah, I love that song. A.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. I think it's a really good song. I would go A or B. I think it like default. It might even be a better song than some of the songs in S tier, maybe. Even though I like You Only Live Twice a lot. But I think it almost like by default can't be S tier just because it's not like a real Bond movie. And
that's kind of why I didn't give it an S tier, because it's like it's a great song, but I wouldn't necessarily. Well, no, I would not call it a Bond song. Like,
I'm cool with A tier. I think A tier is a good slot for it. So yeah, okay, cool. So right now we got Goldfinger, You Only Live Twice, S. A, we've got Russia with Love with the vocals, Cash's Thunderball, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, instrumental, A Look of Love. B tier, instrumental from Russia with Love, Thunderball, We Have All the Time in the World. C tier, the Dr. No medley, nothing in D tier yet, and Casino Royale in the old F tier. Yeah, but I think it is time to move on to Connor's Wicked Games, sponsored by Chris Isaac. Every week, like Jigsaw, I like to play a little game. This week, it's Bond Purdy. We had Twin Peaks, Wheel of Fortune. And now we've got Bond Purdy. It's basically it's standard Jeopardy rules with 2 exceptions. I'm going to start you guys with 500, and then I'll round up towards the end for final Jeopardy if someone's really low. But yeah, someone will select. I'll read the question. You'll buzz in. I would say the way you would want to do that is just like say something or raise your Scott. I would say you should do a movement because sometimes your audio cuts out, but I'm just gonna do a movement, or if everyone wants to like do a hand raise plus a say buzz or something, I guess would be good.
This is not a multiple choice type of game.
No, this is full on Jeopardy rules.
This is Jeopardy.
You all have fun.
I do enjoy.
I will be caveating.
If you get it right, you'll get the points. You get it wrong, you lose the points. You don't have to buzz in. There's a second thing to the standard rules we'll get to in a second, but yeah, let's Bri, I'll have you start our 4 categories. We got 4 each: Bond girls, Bond buddies, travel Bond, and behind the scenes.
Let's go Bond girls for 400.
All right. Let's
Damn.
go to the
She's
hardest one.
coming in. She's coming in hot.
She played the horny English girl Ruby Bartlett in On Her Majesty's Secret Service, and she also played one of M's horny Scottish daughters in Casino Royale. Anyone want to buzz in on this one? It is. You did pick one of the hardest ones. They are actually hard.
I figured I'd master it right away.
All right, I think we're gonna have to do a bump on that one. This is Angela Scular. So the old.
I thought it was Sarah Scular. That's my bad.
Old Angie Scular. Jason, we'll go with you now. You pick one.
Beyond the scenes for, let's go 200.
All right. The production designer of 4 of these first 6 films who would win an Oscar for Barry Lyndon. Any buzzing in?
Names.
No?
No.
All right. It'll be a low-scoring game. It's okay. I wanted to do real trivia every once in a while, you know. This is Ken Adam, the famous Ken Adam. I will say this: I wouldn't have gotten that first one. I would have gotten this one. The heck? Yeah, there we go. All right, Scott, your turn to pick.
Let's go Bond Buddies for 100.
Portrayed by 8 different actors across nearly half of the Bond films, Bond's longtime CIA buddy. Oh, come on.
No.
This is easy.
Like, I know who this character is, but I'm trying to remember
Yeah, me
his name
too. I
was.
know exactly who you're talking about.
All right.
Yeah.
Who is Felix Leiter?
I kept thinking his name was Carl or something to start with the letter C.
It is not.
Yeah.
Bri, over to
We're not
you.
going to be very good at this.
Bond Girls for 100.
A Swiss actress who plays both Honey Rider and Dr. No in Vesper Lind in Casino Royale. Really? I said her name multiple times earlier.
Beep, beep.
Okay. Jason?
Ursula Andress.
Can you say it better? Can you say that?
Ursula Andress.
Well, can you say it in the right way? Because it's Jeopardy.
Why is Ursula, what is Ursula Andress?
All right. So before I reveal if that answer is right or not, something else we're going to do, the other exception to the rules, is Scott, Bri, you guys can wager for a quarter of the points if you think he's right or wrong. So, like, if you think he's right and he is right, you'll get 25 points. If you think he's wrong and he's wrong, you'll get 25 points, and then you'll lose 25 if you're off.
Yeah.
And you don't have to. So, thumbs up, thumbs down. What do you guys think? Or nothing?
I'll say thumbs up, sure.
All right. Well, congratulations, everyone. That is indeed Ursula Andress. So let's give Jason gets 100 points and 25 and 25. And we are back with Jason. You can pick again.
Beyond the Scenes, 300.
The producer of Thunderball, who claimed to have co-plotted the original novel with Ian Fleming.
Yeah, like, again, I'm familiar with the story and the legal battle. Do not remember what his name was.
All right.
Is there a multiple choice for lesser points?
No, unfortunately not. This is Kevin McClory, a gentleman we'll talk about again when we get to the 80s. Let's go to Scott. You get to pick.
Travel Bond, 200.
Despite the title of the film, the country where the action and From Russia with Love begins. you guys even watch these movies?
I'm going to be honest. It's been like one long movie for me. Okay, I'm not going to lie.
All right. Burp, burp, burp. What is turkey?
See, I can guess Sweden, so I'm glad I didn't guess.
I was thinking Japan. I forgot.
Back to you, Bri.
Bond Girls for 200.
Canadian actress most known for being in 14 of the James Bond films, second only to Q actor Desmond Llewellyn. Damn. Burp, burp, burp.
Is this them?
Gotta be Moneypenny.
Who is Lois Maxwell as Moneypenny? All right, Jason.
Travel Bond 100.
Located in Kentucky and featured in Goldfinger, a U.S. Army installation that features an exhibit highlighting leadership issues that arose from the 9/11 attacks, whose name is often used to refer to the United States Bullion Depository located nearby.
Beep, beep.
I saw Jason first.
Fort Knox. What is Fort Knox?
Bri, Scott, what do you guys think about that one?
Yes, I'll agree.
Yes, I agree.
That is indeed Fort Knox. So let's give Jason the old 100 and everybody else another 25 points. And Jason, yeah, we're on you. You get to pick again.
Beyond the Scenes for 400.
A director who did half of these first 6 Bond films and who would later direct many Charles Bronson films.
Guy who directed.
Yeah, I know he directed everything except for Goldfinger and On Her Majesty's Secret Service, but I don't remember what his name is.
He directed the first 2 in Thunderball. Who is Terrence Young?
Terrence.
Sorry, Terrence.
Sorry, Terrence.
You're good.
Scott, you get to pick.
Bond Buddies for 400.
Bond's lady buddy in Thunderball, who takes her own life with a suicide pill while captured, played by Martine Beswick, also played one of the fighting Romani girls in From Russia with Love.
Character's name?
What was that? The character's name. Yeah. I would even take the first name, even because it's mentioned. Jason.
Who is Paula?
Bri, Scott, what do we think about that answer?
Yeah, sure.
Bri?
Yeah, talk it.
Who is Paula Kaplan is correct.
Nice.
So yeah, that's that's 400 for Jason and 100 for both Bri and Scott. Got to do that manually. Jason, we're back to you. You get to we're clearing up the board here. Where do you want to go?
I'll do Bond Buddies for 200.
We don't have to fight about it. He's Bond's buddy with the boat in Jamaica from Dr. No. I could only think of clever ways to phrase a couple of these, and this is one of them. Bop, bop, bop. Who is Quarrel?
Hmm.
Bri, you get to pick.
Yeah, let's continue and finish up not knowing anything about the Bond Girls for 300.
Also known for her role in Alfred Hitchcock's Topaz, a German actress who plays number 11 in You Only Live Twice. 3, 2, 1. Burp, burp, burp. Who is Karine Dorr? Who is Karine Dorr? I believe it is now back to Jason. You get to pick.
Beyond the Scenes for 100.
The composer most famously associated with the Bond series, who scored every film from Russia with Love to Diamonds Are Forever, plus 5 more in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, I just can't remember names.
Well,
I
now
don't know them.
now you guys know this is coming in the future, and maybe next time.
Good.
Yeah. This is who is John Barry? Scott.
Travel bond 400.
The location of Tracy and Bond's stock car race, a village and municipality in the Interlaken Oberhallische Administrative District in the canton of Bern in Switzerland.
Oh shit! I tipped my tongue.
What is Lauterbrunnen?
Oh, that's what it was. Lauterbrunnen.
Lauterbrunnen. Okay, that was.
Yeah.
All right, Bri, which way? Western.
Which way am I gonna go? Let's travel aboard for 300.
One of the
Travel
largest
bond.
cities in Japan, where the Slam Dunk Docks location was, and you only live twice. Any guesses on this one? Nope. What is Kobe?
That's right.
Kobe.
And then we'll do this
I
last.
do remember that because I remember going like, "Oh, Kobe beef. That's where it comes from," or something. I did in my head.
Bond Buddies for 300, portrayed by Pedro Armendariz in his final role. He was the head of Station T who assisted Bond in From Russia with Love. You remember this character's name?
No.
All right. Who is Kareem Bey? We are on the final Jeopardy. Y'all can see the points. Brian, Scott, you guys both have 650.
Just a cockroach in this game today.
Jason,
me too.
You have 1100. And the category for this final question is the James Bond theme. So if everyone could make their secret wagers now. The question... Well, hey, Hefner, what's up? The question, not John Barry, but the actual accredited composer of the James Bond theme. Not John Barry, but the actual credited composer of the James Bond theme. I'm going to give everyone a second to think it over, to mull it over. And, yeah, let's start with you, Scott. What is your answer?
I answered Woody Allen.
And how much did you wager?
0, because I was doing horrible in this game.
Yeah.
Bri, what did you answer?
I'm continuing my trend of not knowing a goddamn thing, so I wagered nothing and I know nothing.
Jason, what did you answer?
Who is I don't know.
And how much did you wager?
100.
100. Okay, that was a fair. I was expecting you to wager all of it like you normally do. The correct answer is who is Monty Norman. So Jason gold medal, Bri Scott tied for a silver. So actually, everyone's a winner today. And yeah, Scott, do you have your bit?
Yes.
All right, let's go over to Scott for.
Hey, welcome to Scott's Comic Corner, brought to you by Eric Clapton and Allergies. Allergies, like depression and homosexuality, it's your choice. Last week finished up DCKO, which was the big crossover event at DC. Which brings us to what I want to talk about this week, crossover events, or just big events for this Marvel and DC. We've kind of finished 3 recently. Last year, the big one for Marvel was One World Under Doom, which I got to say, kind of a bust.
Yeah.
Just not an event. The series in and of itself, I enjoyed. It was written by Ryan North. It was about Doom becoming Sorcerer Supreme and taking over the world. And it was an interesting story, but it just didn't affect the Marvel universe. Part of his plan was making things kind of the same. So more than anything, it was just people going kind of, oh, that was weird. And I think the tie-ins didn't enhance the story in any way. They were mostly about like D-list characters who were going, what's it like being in a world where Doom takes over?
Yeah.
So yeah, it just disappointing. Then the other one that Marvel did was the Age of Revelation, which was sort of just kind of a side quest. It lasted about 3 months. It was just for the X-Men universe. And on the one hand, there are definitely too many tie-in books because it's a bunch of X-Men, but it was kind of obvious if you were reading it that you really only needed to read the Jed McKay books if you wanted to get the full story. And then everything else was sort of extra. You know, I kept reading, like, I've been enjoying Gail Simone's run on Uncanny X-Men. And during the Age of Revelation run, which is 3 months, I read her Unbreakable X-Men was what it was called. It was just sort of like them in the future. That was the whole series. It was essentially like them 10 years in the future. Revelation had taken over. And it was interesting because the whole thing was only 3 issues, all the series. It was basically just issue 1, set up the stakes. Issue 2, raise the stakes, and issue 3, for the most part, was die heroically because it's a future world that we're all going to go, you know, not canon or whatever, so we could just kill a bunch of characters. And yeah, it was fun. I could see people being annoyed by it, but like to me, it was more like a weird little timeout for the X-Men. The one that I thought really worked was this one. DC's KO event. It tied in great with the rest of the DC world. Any tie-in issues didn't feel superfluous like they did with One World Under Doom, but at the same time, they weren't necessary to read to like understand the story, with the possible exception of Superman, because this was very much a Superman story. But yeah, it puts DC in a good place. And actually, March is a good month to jump on to DC titles. Now this is over. They're starting Act 2 of what they're calling the All-In Initiative. Absolute Universe is doing its thing. Then there's the main unit line. There's also this thing called DC Next Level, which is going to be like more creative driven. Seems to be starring a lot of villains. Lobo's getting... the Demon's getting one, Deathstroke. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see what DC is doing. You know, the way this ends clearly sets up, you know, the whole series was about them fighting Darkseid, and Superman wins. In fact, it ends, spoiler alert, Superman wins, and now he has to go off to parts unknown. So Superman is actually not going to be around the DC universe for a moment, which I think works just because... he was in a lot last summer just because the movie's coming out. But another movie coming out next summer, so I'm sure he'll be back sooner rather than later.
Cool.
So, yeah, I don't know. Like, I've been mostly a Marvel guy. That's been my thing. But at the moment, Marvel doesn't really know what they're doing. Too many reboots, too many starting over. They don't have, like, a cohesive plan. DC seems to kind of, like, have a vision, at least, for what they're doing. The next big event is coming from Marvel. It's called Armageddon. I have no interest.
Yeah.
I know it's going to set up the Avengers. It's a very Avengers-centric. The Avengers series just ended. It was written by Jed McKay. And however this whole Armageddon thing shakes out, that will be the setup for whoever the new Avengers are. But I'm probably going to skip it because, like I said, I'm evented out. I'm just going to be reading my comics. So unless I hear it's an amazing, amazing thing. But, yeah, I think a little goes a long way. So, yeah, that's my take on crossover events.
Oh, well, anybody got anything else? I'll get a motherfucking genocide, Palestine scene everywhere else. Speaking of comics, I went to the Kirby exhibit at the Skirball Museum, which you can't go to anymore because it's done.
Yeah.
It was Jack Kirby exhibit. It was great stuff. Made me very emotional. Also been playing the video game Blueprints a lot. Not like Blueprints the planning, even though that's an intentional double entendre, but like a prince that is blue, which if you haven't played that, Jason, you should check out. I don't know if you know about that game. And yeah, anybody else got anything you want to plug? I got something serious I want to end the show on.
Okay.
Oh, where's Jason? Where's Jason going? I don't know what's going on. Well, I'll start plugging the end of the show stuff. James Bond Club will continue next month with Diamonds Are Forever and Live and Let Die. And I don't know really what we're going to talk about the third thing. Probably just something about the way the Bond series starts to kind of pivot into like ripping things off a lot. We might just have a general discussion about that. But next week probably, we're going to be doing our third annual Oskies special. So that should be fun. And I want to thank Bri here for composing our outro. You should follow us, CinemaCurse666 on Instagram and TikTok and the like. Smash that like button, like and subscribe, share with your friends, share this episode with your local guy who approves people being counts, I guess. And is that everything? Closing credits. So yeah, the final thing I wanted to say is, I said this the other week, is that Hollywood is a very callous place, a very arrogant place, and people can sort of speak out of line a lot, and can say things that are insulting and arrogant, and young guys especially can have not a lot of respect for the arts that sort of came before them. And I am of course talking about Timothy Chalamet, and I am of course talking about his disparaging remarks about the art of fushigi, also known as contact juggling. He said that I think what he said was distasteful, culturally ignorant, and harmful. He said it's just balls, which, whatever, bro. And I think we have the Oscars up this week, and I think not only an apology would be warranted, but I actually think perhaps a public execution. I think that would be a really good distraction from what's happening in Iran. Anyways, that's it for today. Hope everyone's having a good time. Bye-bye.
Hi, everyone. Death to Chalamet.